Observe the ancient ritual of traditional pre-fight donuts.
Yeah!
Fear does not exist in this dojo, does it?
Am I the baddest mofo low down around this time?
Shut up!
Break, not hit back.
Silly Caucasian girl likes to play with samurai swords.
You will all refer to me by the name Betty.
I know Kung Fu.
Thank you, Chuck Norris.
I said I don't want trouble.
Only an idiot can destroy a ninja.
Defeat does not exist in this dojo, does it? No,
Now, who wants to go home? And who wants to go with me?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to KICKFLIX. KICKFLIX here on the Geek Bro Podcast Network. My name is Mike Mercadal. Mike Obshak Mercadal. With me, as always, is
Nary the Auditor Signs.
the Auditor, the most boring name for apparently the most badass of dudes.
Lethal of guys.
That
does make sense, though. It is the last person you want to see.
Yeah, I did the yeah, it is true. Hi everybody, thank you for joining us today on KICKFLIX. And you can this is episode 33 of KICKFLIX. You can go back and watch all of the previous episodes, Geek Bro at Geek Bro Net on YouTube, and you can follow KICKFLIX Pod on all social media platforms. And you can follow us at Mike Mercadal at Nary Signs, so that way you can be notified when we go live. We're live. If you want to join us in the comments, please share your thoughts. We're talking about today's movie, which is Nobody from 2021.
Nobody. And who
Yeah.
can kick your ass like Saul?
Nobody.
Nobody.
It is. This was a movie that to me, this is the definition of one of the ultimate boomer dad fantasy movies, like the old man kicking ass movies, the Takens. This is like right in that wheelhouse. Anytime you see like somebody who's like coming out of retirement to do some lethality, it's like we'll get into those scenes. But this is also
I
one of
just
those.
wanted to be left alone. I just wanted to be left alone, but they came after my family.
It has Boomer John Wick written all over it, but it is also
ironically John Wick is Boomer himself. Right?
It is true. Is it Gen X? Are these Gen X people? But it feels like
how much older is this guy than the Keanu Reeves? Like, is it?
Good question.
Is it the same thing?
Yeah, the idea of this movie is well, let's talk about it. It came out in 2021. It's called this is one of those movies like who asked for this? Nobody. A docile family man slowly reveals his true character after his house gets burgled by two petty thieves, which coincidentally leads him into a bloody war with a Russian crime boss. We feel it's accurate. We feel that's a pretty, like, some of these miss the mark pretty well, because it does say petty thieves, because it does start weird. Like literally the chain reaction of things that happen is just pure coincidence, right?
Yeah.
Just
comically so, like literally comically so.
When this movie came out, did you think it was a comedy?
No, because of who's involved, and I know the history of Bob Odenkirk, but Bob Odenkirk has been on his drama bag for a long time now. Yeah. So I don't think, on a personal note, I've never looked at Bob Odenkirk and thought comedy, because Mr. Show was before my time.
Yes.
So I'm aware of the history. I know some people will be like, but he didn't, and I get it. He did a lot of great comedy, but I became aware of Bob Odenkirk through Breaking Bad. So to me, Bob Odenkirk is synonymous with drama. Now, I thought, oh, this is interesting. He's going to be in an action movie, but I definitely did not expect comedy at all.
Right.
Yeah.
The irony of this is that this is one of those movies where I wish I had not seen the trailer, because I would have been like, if you would have just like, I wish I had. There's a ton of movies. Every once in a while, like there's a movie that I'm watching that I'm glad I went in blind, because because then you can appreciate the surprises, like The Accountant. And you know, we try to. I wish I could go in blind, but we have to do our due diligence here and talk about the parental. Every episode of KickFlix, we talk about our parents' guide. We talk about what you can expect moving forward for if your children should see this movie. Now, according to IMDb, sex and nudity, none. We have none. A husband tells his wife that they haven't had sex in months and haven't made love in years. I like the distinction of that line. Yeah. Oh, and there's like a weird photos of BDSM stuff, but they never actually show it. You know, like the blackmail part. Yeah. As always, spoilers for the movie. If you haven't watched the movie, please go watch the movie and then come back to this. For violence, I gotta be honest with
this. I gotta be honest with you. I think this might be a movie where it doesn't matter. Like, if you watch it before or after. I say that because no matter what we say as far as plot wise, the plot's not really. The plot doesn't matter.
The plot is basically the plot's
it's
the plot.
The equivalent of giving you the. It's basically the equivalent of like telling you like, hey, make sure you watch John Wick before you hear about John Wick. It's like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, we get it. we got it. What is the so yeah, it's severe, the violence and gore. Severe. Most of the movie is stylized type action with minimal blood. No way, there's tons of blood. No, the most brutal scene to note though is the bus scene. Yeah, no, that was a poor.
There's tons of blood. There's tons
of blood. It's severe for a reason.
There's buckets. There's buckets of blood. There's buckets of blood.
It earned the severe category. Yeah. Profanity. What do we?
Severe.
Tons of fucks in this one.
Yeah.
Tons of fucks.
There's 217 coupled with mother. There's
so there's 39 uses of fuck, 8 uses of shit, and 4 uses of asshole, 1 use of the GD word.
Ooh.
So they Kris Kringled it in the thing.
Yeah.
They used all the other bad ones, but they didn't use GD.
Yeah. Well,
4 uses of the B word. They didn't use the B word. 5 uses of the D word, and 2 uses of the H word. What's the H word?
Hello? Hello?
Again,
hello?
These are user submitted on IMDb, so you never know what kind of weirdos
the
are
H
posting
word.
this stuff. The H word.
It has to be hell, right? It has to be
hell.
Because there wasn't even like, hey, he's a whore, or like there was no whore involved.
Whore is a W. Yeah, I don't know.
What if they thought whore was a H word?
I wouldn't put it past them. Here we go.
Yeah.
I mean, good Lord. Alcohol, drugs, and smoking.
Some moderate.
Mild. There was some coke use in the club by the Russian guy, and then there was the smoking in the interrogation.
And more. There's more. There was a couple more smoking scenes.
For sure there were.
Yeah.
Frightening and intense scenes.
All the fighting.
Yeah.
I would say severe. Yeah, it's all of it.
Severe. Yeah. This movie is exceptionally brutal and intense throughout. Again, these are all great KickFlix things that are happening right now. These are all really solid KickFlix.
These are all checking off the boxes of KickFlix. Like, okay.
Yeah. According to the ratings, it was rated R, and it was rated R. I'm trying to think of like the most unusual. In France, it has a 12 rating, so 12-year-olds can see this, but it's 16 on TV, which I thought was funny. And in Japan, it's PG-12. Japan wants 12-year-olds watching this, fully respecting the autonomy of preteens.
Yeah,
and but it is 18 plus in Russia. I guess they don't want they don't want children seeing a Russian man being treated so poorly.
They don't want to see a Russian man being Russian.
Yeah, being Russian. But yeah, anyway, so that leads us into our pregame, and we're gonna go through our. We're gonna dive right into Nobody from 2021, rated R on KickFLIX. What do we got?
All right, so the movie starts with Saul Goodman, all bloody and in handcuffs, and he lights a cigarette. He opens up a can of cat food, and then he pulls a cat out of his jacket. And I was like,
tons of Chekhov's guns in this, because the theory of a Chekhov's gun is that if they show a gun in they have to use it in the third act. If they use it, shows up if they're showing a cat, a tuna cans, and cigarettes. I'm like, these have to come into play at some point.
Yeah, and I just love the fact that he pulled a cat out of his jacket, and the idea of this man sitting in an interrogation room across the table from some kind of authority figure, whether it's local police or whether it's federal, who knows? Yeah, we don't get explanation. But I just love the idea of them. Like, did you frisk him at all? At any point in time? Can you imagine? They're like, well, we took away his guns, but we left him with the cat and a can of cat food and a can opener.
The can of cat food is pretty funny. Yeah. Go ahead.
So the woman asked him across the table, who the fuck are you? And my immediate thought was, well, he's the guy carrying around pussy. That's who the fuck he is. He's just carrying pussy in his jacket, buddy.
I like how it cuts to the how it cuts to the title card without him saying the word as he starts to say it. And I'm like, ooh, invincible.
Yeah. It's kind of like when they cut in Avengers. When he's about to say Avengers Assemble, and they cut, and he goes,
yeah.
So he says me, and then it cuts to the card that says nobody, which is really interesting.
Nobody.
We immediately get a montage of this is just the most mundane montage in KickFLIX history. I dare say,
guy fuck up the garbage.
I dare say this is the most mundane montage in cinematic history. It's just a montage of like a week in the life of a suburban dad activities. It's morning jog, coffee at a bus stop, taking the bus to work, which he indicates a public transportation system that works. So we know that it's not filmed in Miami. It's working on working on a spreadsheet, getting home, forgetting to take out the trash, et cetera, over and over and over again. And I think they do a really good job. The filmmakers do a really good job of like letting you know, hey, this guy's life is fucking boring, without actually boring you. Like they show you enough. They show you the routine enough times that we go, okay, we get it, but it's also not like fuck, stop this already, please, it's killing me, right? Like,
the way they pace it is like bang 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 bang. So it seems like it's action packed, but it is the most boring shit you've ever seen in your life.
Anytime there's a montage, you don't expect to hear the words. Like on the script, they had to put montage and then they put spreadsheet, and that's not something that you don't normally hear montage and spreadsheet in the same sentence. So he checks, then it cuts to him checking on his sleeping family in the middle of the night, and he notices noises coming from downstairs, and it's burglars. He grabs a golf club and he tries to call the cops, but the burglars catch him, and at gunpoint they tell him to put the phone down. The female burglar demands money, cash. That was the exact word, money, cash. And then he points to the dish on the counter. And she asks, "Is that it?" And he says, "Yeah, I use debit cards because it's not 1997." That I'm always like thinking about that. Like when you I wonder if like muggings have gone down.
Have millennials killed the mugging industry? Have millennials killed the home burglary industry?
Well, home burglaries, you can still get some TVs and shit, but like. Muggings, you're not mugging somebody on the side of the street going like, give me your TV, like I don't
give me your wallet. It's like
Venmo me.
The most expensive thing in the wallet is the wallet.
Can you imagine Venmo me? Like you get mugged and you're like, Venmo me some money, motherfucker. Like it's just like the mugger has a QR code on his shirt. The mugger will have like a QR code where you gotta scan it. No. No, you gotta, and then you gotta press the button. Wait, hold on.
You gotta swipe to the camera. Just swipe. You don't have to find it. You just swipe from the lock screen.
Yeah.
Just swipe. Okay. Now.
And then take a picture. Okay.
And then they do this. They do this, trying to get it in the right frame.
And then they're like, it's asking me for a 4-pin verification. The last 4 of your phone number.
What's the last one?
Like, no. Just accept anyways. Just accept anyways.
We scan. You don't have to worry. I will say they do show his family. Is there a clue that there is someone being robbed, or is it that's because of his heightened spy sensibilities?
I thought he maybe heard something in bed because he wasn't sleeping because he lives the most boring life on earth, so he wasn't sleeping. And
is there, and also like there's a pillow barrier, like a pillow wall between him and his wife.
Yeah.
Foreshadowing. There's signs of trouble, but
symbolism. It's symbolism.
This is also like every suburban gun-owning weirdo's dream. Like the people, like there's a whole group of people out there that this is like this. You know, at the end of what movie were we in? Iron Man 3 or something like that. When all the Iron Man suits come out, we were like, you know, like we were just like the like nerd jerk off fantasy. This is gun nerd jerk off fantasy level stuff, right? Like this is pure fantasy. He comes in and he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna defend my home against intruders.
Well, except for that he doesn't have a gun with him. He takes a golf club. Like that's
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They're showing because they want they want these the weirdos who are all about it to be he screwed up, he could have done all of the what I would have done, and that's it. And then they literally have the neighbor do it in the next day. Well, we'll get there, but it's like ridiculous.
Well, so he says he gives up his watch and his son jumps the guy and holds back from clubbing the woman and instructs his son to let go. The son gets punched in the face and they leave. He tries to help his son up and his son slaps his hand away. Everyone is disappointed at Hal for not fighting back, especially Hal. He's disappointed in himself. He's like in this like world of, you know, replaying the shit over and over in his end. The next morning, his son tells him that he's doing a paper on a veteran and asks if you could do it on him. He says that he's just an auditor, so a nobody, and he suggests asking his uncle and his grandfather.
Yeah, he asked his uncle. He's like, he was a real soldier. And I was like, ooh. Could you imagine being this? Because I like to think about going in blind on these movies. I don't want to, you know, like let the story tell me its story. Sure. Let the movie tell me its story. So if you don't know all of these things about him, you miss these little things. But because we know a little bit about him being a badass, and it gives it away too, because he has to like fake out being a bitch. Like he has to pretend, right? So like it shows us that a little bit. And then when they say, oh, he was a real soldier, you get the disrespect. Like, I don't know if I can hold it in. I'm like, you know how many people I've killed?
Well, we are entertainers, you and I. So I can't go to the gym and not tell people. So I can't even imagine doing all the shit that he's done that we later find out that he's done and not telling people. Like I
broadcast taking a big shit. You know,
I
the smallest of milestones.
Yeah, I don't. You know what I mean? I went to Europe 3 weeks ago and I'm still posting about it. Like I'm still like I don't understand. Yeah, so this to me is very foreign, and it's like, oh, this is acting. This is clearly Hollywood magic. This is clearly Hollywood make believe, because nobody on earth would actually hold back from being able to share all this information.
Yeah.
So we finally get his name. His name is Hutch. We meet the next door neighbor, who seems to be a class S douchebag. He got a car from his father that left him. He doesn't care that dad died, but he's just happy that he got the 72 Charger.
I mean, it's a pretty good trade-off. Dad, if you hear this, I'm not above it. I mean, like...
but the guy, he says, oh, I'm sorry for your loss. He says, I'm sorry for your loss. And he's like, I got the 72 Charger out of it. I'm glad I got something out of it. And it's like, okay. But you're going to get... Your dad has motorcycles. You're going to get a motorcycle, right?
I don't know. These days... the economy. Sometimes you got to pay off some bills. Maybe not.
I'm not
know.
saying that you're going to keep the motorcycle. I'm saying you're going to get the motorcycle is what I'm saying.
No, he hasn't had a motorcycle in a while, but he has had. Yeah, no, the motorcycles. Here's the thing. This is also like, God, I want to say this is the check. There's like a checklist of how many things can set this guy, like, can this guy tolerate before it sets him off? So it's just setting up, like, the cop in the previous scene telling, man, if that would have been my family, a cab all day. Right. But that, like, it was like such a shitty thing to say to somebody whose house is just, if this was real, right? So you can see you can see like the fuse burning a little bit. And then the guy's like, I'm living this cool life with my cool car, blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, ugh. And then
I love the line. It says it goes from 0 to 60, and we're about to find the fuck out. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. That's a dope line. That's a dope line. It's a douchebag. Like, it's coming from a douchebag, but it is something a douchebag would say. It is something a douchebag would say.
Yeah. And then also, like, it's like they're trying to like how shitty can this guy's life get in the mundane? You know what I mean? Like the average man's problems, where he's got a shitty neighbor, his wife won't fuck him, his kids don't respect him,
his wife won't make love to him even longer. It's very different.
Yeah, exactly. But really, which one of those happens first? You're like, just fuck me, dude. Come on. Also, it's like, this is also classic bad relationship stuff that I feel is very boomer humor. Like when people like are there's always like some guy pissed at his wife for some reason. I don't think he's pissed at his wife, but he does love his wife. I feel like there is.
We do. Well, at this point in the movie, we don't get that yet. At this point in the movie, we are like, he's just not happy with he's not happy with his life, and everybody except his daughter could fuck off. Like,
his daughter, what a cute. His one saving grace, his one little beacon of hope, and then they take.
We'll get there. We'll get there. So, so we at this point when we meet the neighbor in the car, is when we finally get his name. We're probably like 9 minutes into the movie. We haven't got his name. His name is Hutch.
He's nobody.
So now we're at his job. His brother-in-law works with him, and he gives him a gun after pointing it at his fucking face. And he goes, it's not loaded. And then he said, it's not.
The safety's on.
Safety's on. And then he said, oh, wait, now the safety's on. And I'm just like, which is the most like, again, we just met this character 5 seconds ago, but it's very much within his character to be that douchebag, to assume that the safety's on, but the safety's not on. Like I've taken many gun courses and many like gun safety classes, and this is the like behavior that they teach you against. That
Strikes 1 through 9 are like just literally pointing anything at anyone.
And it's like pointing, and then they say make sure like just assume the safety's not on, because they always say that to you. Just assume the safety's not on, because everybody. And then you have police officers that come in and talk to you, and they say that every time they go into a situation where a gun accidentally went off, they always hear the guy say, I thought the safety was on.
I thought the safety was on.
So he's that douchebag. We get that within 5 seconds of meeting him. We're like, oh, you're that douchebag. Yeah. He turns on the radio in his office, and he starts listening to jazz, and then the voice from inside the radio starts talking to Hutch, which for a split second, I was like, is this a dream sequence? Is he like high? Like, how is the radio talking to him?
I thought this was going to be like a falling down situation where you're just watching a man's descent into madness, right?
Yeah.
I thought like, oh, well, this is him going crazy. He's schizophrenic. Okay. And I was like, oh, what a way more interesting movie than I thought. You know what I mean? Like a guy going crazy would have been, I don't know. It just was. I was like, oh, but then all of a sudden I was like, immediately when that guy starts talking, I'm like, that's the RZA. I know, I know the RZA when I hear him.
Yeah.
But it was also like, apparently that's like a ham radio.
You know what's so funny? So I did not get that, even though.
Oh, really?
In the credits, opening credits, it says RZA. I didn't, and I'm a huge Wu-Tang fan, but I was just like, I was just thrown off by the fact that the radio was talking to him. Like, he was just listening to jazz, but he was just listening to jazz. It wasn't like he turned it on and it's like breaker 1 2. Like, that would be different. Like, there was music playing, and when you watch one of those old school radios being played and you hear music, you just assume that it's an FM radio or an AM radio. Right, you don't hear, you don't expect a two-way radio. Anyways,
It kicks into the Riz is like, I'm gonna play a trumpet in this movie. He's like, yeah, but off camera. He's like, all right, But it's like he's like, hey, you're getting pretty good, and so clearly there's a relationship established.
Banter.
There
it's radio banter.
Yeah, radio banter.
It says, the voice starts talking to Hutch. He tells him about the robbery. Tells him every detail about the gun that was used. He knows the make and model. So this is the audience's first indication of like this guy knows his shit. You know what I mean? Because normally you, as a suburban dad, you're not able to know what kind of gun they had to point it at you. You just, he had a gun at me. So he tells them everything about the gun that was used, including the fact that it was not loaded.
Right.
And then the voice on the radio, which we later find out is RZA, tells him that not to do anything stupid. Hutch goes to visit his dad at the nursing home. His dad talks about the old days and who they used to be. And he's like, remember the old days, Hutch, who we used to be? A scientist that traveled through time to help a kid bang his mom. And I was like, oh, that is cool. That is a very cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, Dad.
If you have not seen the movie, that makes zero sense. But yeah, sure. Yeah. Remember who we used to be? Staten Island gangster rappers. Remember who we used to be? HBO comedy, alt comedy icons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was nice to hear like an old man talking about the days of him time traveling. I was like, oh, wow, that's cool.
Yeah. I do like he puts the gun in the freezer. Gotta keep it fresh.
Yes.
He puts it there at work in the old, like a box of some old frozen shit in the back, because I can't tell you how many times I've gone into a work freezer and there's just like a random thing that's been there for like a decade. It feels like it's just been there, like it expired 3 years ago. It's like, yeah, no one's gonna look in here. And I was like, oh, okay, good. Yeah, solid. I do wonder, is that a tactic? Is that a military decision where the gun does it affect the bullets in any way? I don't know. Do you have to thaw the bullets to shoot them or something? Like I wonder if that. I was like, was it? Because now I'm thinking everything this guy's doing is tactical, right? Like, I was like, why would he put it in? Whatever. Never mind.
He just doesn't want to carry it. I don't think he just wants to have it with him.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And
I like, from a writing perspective, I like the fact that the brother-in-law was like, protect my sister, because that's how we know he's a brother-in-law. They don't. Right. That's it. That one line is all we need. It's like you don't need to go through this whole exposition about how you married my wife, my like, protect my sister. It's like, oh, we get it. Okay, yeah, that's it. All right.
We also introduced in this next scene, we introduced Michael Ironside, KickFlix action movie MVP. Michael Ironside is the father-in-law, and I was like, hey, check. Like anytime we see like any of our action movie KickFlix icons,
what else was he in that we've done?
Well, he was in like Iron Eagle. He's been in a bunch of stuff, but
but nothing that KickFlix has done. Nothing that KickFlix has done.
No, he has. I'm trying to think of which one we did. Well, he's in the next Karate Kid, but we didn't do that. We haven't done that yet.
Well,
he's in
never
Highlander 2. We haven't done that.
Spoiler alert. We're never gonna do the next Karate Kid.
Never gonna do the next Karate
Hilary
Kid.
Swank has sucked my fucking balls.
What are
that
we
movie
talking
sucks.
about?
That movie sucks tremendous. Balls.
There's a ton of stuff here. Hold on, let me see.
Did I ever tell you that story that when I bought on DVD, I bought the Karate Kid collection on DVD, and in my mind, I was like, I'm just gonna throw away the next Karate Kid, like the actual disc. I'm gonna throw it away, and they put the next Karate Kid on the back of the disc of the Karate Kid 3. So there was no getting out of it. Like, you had to own the next Karate Kid, unless you didn't mind not owning Karate Kid 3. And I'm like, no, Karate Kid 3 is great. Why would I not want to own this? So I couldn't even get rid of, like, they forced you to fucking keep next Karate Kid. You're like,
those tactics are good. He's in he's a classic Total Recall. He's in Highlander 2. Oh, a movie called Night Trap. That's actually really good.
But nothing KickFlix has done. But you're saying it like, I just wanted to make sure.
He's an action icon first. I said Starship Troopers.
Sure.
He's like that. He's like a character actor that anytime I see him, I'm like the Leonardo DiCaprio.
I'm with you on all that. I just wanted to make sure that because you said KickFlix, and I'm like, man, am I slipping? Because I don't remember seeing him in a KickFlix movie. But yeah, I get it. Action movie. I get it. He's a staple in action movies. I get it.
Yeah.
Very. Super underused in this movie.
He's just chilling in this movie.
he literally did a day's work, right? It's all in a day's work for this guy. Like one day, he filmed for one day in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he had to have just been like there, like, hey, we just need to walk you around this office, and he's like, how much are we getting paid? Like, yeah, okay,
sure.
Did I ever tell you about the time I was in RoboCop or whatever the fuck?
Yeah,
oh, no, he's not in RoboCop. What is he? Never mind.
Troopers. All right, so Hutch gets home to his daughter looking for her kitty cat bracelet, and that it was in the bowl that the robbers got to, and then she says they wouldn't have stolen that too, would they? Which is literally the straw that's needed to send him into a fucking rage. Like that's just the straw. Like that's all he needed. He just needed. This
is John Wick's dog. Yeah, he just needed. Yeah. He just well, maybe less, even less so. This is
even less so because this is not a life. This is a kitty cat bracelet.
Yeah, it's a kitty cat bracelet. And he's just. He's like one of those people that's like, man, I really want to kill something, and then then they announce that, hey, there's an invasive species. The deer population is too big, and they're like, great. And he's like,
these are the guys. These are the guys that live in California, and they're like, there's too many pythons in Florida. It's like, say less, fam, and then they get a plane ticket to go to Florida just to kill some snakes, and they're like, I got
exactly, yeah, that's those dudes. There's like, what? Yeah. Oh, you need me to kill? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's the straw. So he immediately goes to his dad's, back to his dad's place. He gets his dad's old FBI badge and gun, and then he tells his dad, "There's a thing that I gotta do," and his dad gives a gangster ass reply, and he says, "Then you best go do it." And I was like,
"Yeah, there's a thing I gotta do" is a great line in context. Also, this is Christopher Lloyd. This is where Christopher Lloyd is his dad. I don't think we referenced it that part because he's in a nursing
I talked about going back in time.
But yeah, Christopher Lloyd, also another one of like our heroes. Like whenever you see him pop up in anything that isn't Back to the Future, I'm always doing the
that's Doc Brown. It's Doc Brown.
It's Doc Brown. But yeah,
which I very much enjoyed watching him in this movie because it's very not Doc Brown.
Yes. We'll get to it, but the scene later where he defends himself is great.
Yeah. So we get a montage of Hutch taking the bus, which is some shit that you never see. An action like taking the bus, like that's awesome. I just love this whole thing.
I wrote in the notes, I was like, cue the middle-aged boomer blues rock riffs. Because the song that kicks in is like gut, but like bang, bang, bang. And then it shows a montage, which a KickFLIX movie needs montages. But it's not a training montage. Does it count? Does it count as a KickFLIX montage?
Of course, it's a montage. This is our second montage.
No, as a KickFLIX montage. I mean, none of these are training montages.
No, but he's actually. First of all, this is a great montage. This could work as a public service announcement for public transportation. This could like you could just show this video and be like, yes, I will take the bus. Taking the bus is badass. Like,
yeah. Listen to the soundtrack. It has to be cool.
Oh, he's sitting backwards. He's like one of us. So we get a bus montage. He's going to tattoo shops and he's asking about the design that he saw the girl have on her wrist.
Exactly.
And luckily it wasn't a butterfly because then there would be no way of tracking that down because there's too many.
Very good luck. Good luck.
So he finally gets to a tattoo shop where he quote flashes cheese to try to get information on the tattoo, and the military vet notices the tattoo on Hutch's wrist and immediately thanks him for his service. So nervously, he goes into the other room, audibly closes the door, locks himself. You hear the multiple locks.
Like a cartoonish number of locks go off. Like every lock in the world, it's like click, 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 click. So, and then he opens a little window, looks out, he's like, just letting you know I'm done. And he closes it, and then you hear another click.
Yeah, and I love. First of all, that was the first time I was ever in an apartment in New York City. I have a friend that lived. I don't know if she still does. She lived in Flatbush. And she was like, okay, when you get there, like she was at work when I got there to visit, and this is 1,000 years ago, and she's like, when you get there, it's apartment blah blah blah, I left the key and blah 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 whatever. And so I go, and she's like, make sure you lock whatever. And so that I go into the apartment, and when I close the door, this was my first experience in a New York City apartment, and I saw like 7, without exaggeration, 7 door locks, and I was like, this is a bit excessive. And then I remembered where I was, and I was like, maybe it's not a bit excessive. Maybe this is just the way they have to do. Like maybe one lock isn't enough.
It may be a bit excessive, but like one less lock. That's it. Everything then it's good.
Yeah,
but yeah.
And so this guy goes in there,
Wait,
and I love.
I want to. Can we? They never explain why. So the tattoo, I looked at it, I paused it. It's a 2-7. It's two. Playing
it's
cards.
a playing cards. Yeah.
That it's a 2 and a 7, and they're offsuit. Which a 2-7 offsuit is the worst hand you can be dealt in Texas Hold'em poker.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do they ever explain? Did I miss when they explained where the tattoo came from?
No, I think contextually you just put together that that this is a military tattoo because he says thank you for your service. So contextually you just go, this guy understands immediately that he is in the military and that the guys in the military that have this specific tattoo are not to be fucked with. Because prior to this scene where he flashes the FBI badge, that same vet immediately picks up that it expired 10 years earlier. And so he himself, we could deduce, is a badass because he was able to like, hey, that expired 10 years ago and you're full of shit and you're about to get your ass kicked. And so there's guys behind him with baseball bats. And then Hutch gives us a speech about like there's 3 types of guys that quote flash this cheese. It's the kind of guys that don't, that don't want trouble, that kind of guys, and then the kind of guys like me that are begging for you for fucking trouble. And so when you hear him say that, and then you see this guy's reaction of like, oh my God, this guy's crazy. Like, thank you for your service. And he gets so scared. Yeah. I think they do a good job. The writing is so good of like, without
it's very efficient.
Very efficient without actually showing you Hutch kicking ass, the fear that is put in this man, which then puts the fear to everybody else. Like everybody else is now like, how can I help you?
And he even says, thank you, old timer. And then it's like, and then everybody just kind of goes like, eh?
Yeah, if this guy's scared of him, we should be fucking deathly afraid of this motherfucker. And it was very, very, very productive. I was like, oh, that's a very good way of doing it.
I'm trying to remember at what point because he describes himself as I'm the family man. I'm a family man. At some point he described, I don't know if it's in this scene or not, but I think would the movie have been called better? Like, because I didn't like the name Nobody. Nobody to me wasn't necessarily like it didn't mean anything to me, and I was like, would it have been better if he had been called Family Man or some other like more descriptive title?
I get what you're saying, Family Man. I wouldn't hate the title Family Man, but
there's a Nick Cage movie, Family Man.
Right? Yeah, I would have, but I thought the Nobody was great because he just kept saying that. He's like, "Oh, me, I'm a nobody.
Right,
I'm nobody,"
and that was the name on the dossier. That does make sense, whatever.
Yeah, again. I thought, I mean, you could have named this movie Auditor. You could have named, I'm okay with any of those titles.
The Accountant.
Yeah.
All right.
But
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to derail.
So anyway, he says,
the two cards they never explain, and it is the worst-handed poker. And I'm like, what? Like what an interesting thing just to show, but they never bring it up again.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was very well done that they didn't need to, because I thought his actions spoke louder than words. Like this is what I tell people, like when and I've not written a movie yet, but I've taken classes on writing movies, and this is what I try to explain to people why Scarface bothers me so much, because they have so much exposition and they tell you too much, verbally tell you too much, where they could just show you. Like they don't need to just like pound it in. Like, you're making a lot of money. We saw the guys carrying bags of money into the bank. We understand. You don't need to fucking. And this is a perfect example of like, I don't need to know what the 7-2 means. I know that tattoo means that this veteran is scared as fuck.
That's fair.
This guy.
That's fair. It made me go down like a search up like military tattoos, and then you see a ton of like Nazi tattoos apparently. But it's wild out there. But apparently that's like it made me curious about how, like in fucking Starship Troopers, when they get the Ricos Roughnecks or the Ratchets.
I haven't seen the movie. I saw like 20 minutes of it and it was complete trash and I turned it off. But I would give the example of Lethal Weapon. When Lethal Weapon, the original Lethal Weapon, when the kid saw the tattoo, he had a painting on him. And he goes, "This is a special forces tattoo. This is a blah 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 blah." And you know what I mean? Like he explained to Murtaugh what that tattoo meant, but you know,
it's like, I get it.
Yeah,
well, in the room.
Yeah, but we all get it. But he had to explain it to Murtaugh, who Murtaugh's too old for this shit. When Murtaugh was 33 years old, whatever. Anyways,
I'm sorry, I keep derailing it.
Yeah, no, it's all right. So then, all right, so he finally gets to the tattoo. He gets to the couple that broke into his house, which seems to be a loving couple, a loving Hispanic couple. Nothing out of the ordinary.
Yeah,
you
Latinos.
know.
I mean,
and then after retrieving his watch, but not the kitty cat bracelet, motherfucker, which is hilarious. The kitty cat bracelet, motherfucker, is like it's hilarious.
yeah.
He sees that they have a sick baby and realizes that's why they robbed them, because the American healthcare system is a scam that just fattens the pockets of the ultra rich while declining the claims of those that need it the most. Hashtag free Luigi. All that was in the movie. And he gets super upset that he couldn't beat somebody up, and he starts punching a fucking brick wall.
Oh yeah. Now you feel bad? Yeah. I do love the idea. Like, what if, could you imagine if Luigi gets into court, he starts to testify himself, and then they're like, "Why did you do what you did?" And he's like, "Have you seen the movie Nobody?"
Yeah.
There's a scene.
There's a scene. Like, have you seen Nobody? Have you seen Breaking Down? Was it Breaking Down? It was Breaking Down, right? That was the name of the movie. The one with Michael Douglas, where he loses it.
Yeah, right. What now? I'm blanking on what was the actual name of that movie. Yeah, Falling Down.
Yeah. So like he's like, have you seen Breaking Down? Have you seen Falling Down? Have you seen Nobody? Have you seen like? And he just starts naming a list. Have you seen John Q? And he just starts naming a list of movies that the medical system has failed.
The Rainmaker, great John Grisham movie, The Rainmaker. Have you seen The Rainmaker?
Yeah,
Free Luigi.
Yeah. So on the bus on the way home, 5 douchebags get on the bus after crashing their car. Which, by the way, there's so many times in this movie where you go, had this not happened, then this other thing wouldn't have happened.
Sure.
And I could blame all of these deaths that we're gonna see in the next hour on the bus driver. They're all on the bus driver. The bus driver, if she would have not just opened the door, she just would have kept on driving. None of this would have happened.
Oh, you blame the bus driver. Interesting. You're right.
Because the bus driver stopped at an unsanctioned bus stop. At an unsanctioned bus stop. She just saw them crash a car, and she's like, why not let these 5 people in here? It's like, no, this is bad.
As I'm watching this, I'm watching it through the filter of like, so at this point, this guy starts begging for these people to get on the bus so that he can release some pressure, let off some steam. You know what I'm saying? Like he's I need this.
Yeah, the voiceover literally says, "Please, God, open this door." Like if they say that when God closes the window, he opens a door, and he's like, "Please, God, open this door."
And I want to say that this is the ultimate. I keep seeing videos like this online of like, MAGA assholes who are like starting trouble, but then they get checked. And this is the ultimate, like, again, Frank Sinatra's playing. This is the boomerest of boomer things. But like, there's always those videos where the guy's like, there's one in Home Depot that I laugh all the time because the guy's like, I'm gonna fuck you up. And then the dude in the Home Depot, oh, you wanted this? No, now you're gonna get it. No, now you have to. It's basically like, and the guy's like, no, when like everybody talks big.
Yeah.
Like that's that real, like, I don't know. I don't want to call it concern because I know there's plenty of probably older dudes that are not.
It's the prime fuck around and find out. It's like the prime.
Yeah, it's the fuck around and find out. Yeah. And then, my favorite thing is in this scene is he does the Bronx Tale. Now Yous can't leave. He does the Now Yous can't leave. That was my favorite. I was like, oh, okay, all right, now I'm in. I like. I'm watching this with 2 minds, making fun of it a little because it's like boomer fantasy jerk off material, but then also it's a solid movie. Like it's really well put together. Everything's good. We have not had. I will say this: we have not had any martial arts up until this point.
Yes.
We have not had any fighting in any way. This is where they get to show us if it is a KICKFLIX movie.
Sure. They very quickly and brutally show you it's a KICKFLIX movie. They open the door. Some people get off the bus. A girl stays. Why? Beyond me, but she stays. So he tells the girl, "Get the fuck out," for your safety. Then they show Hutch manually getting the bus driver and be like, no, you don't need to call anybody, and just like like escorting the bus driver kindly off the bus, closing the door manually and saying like, yeah, we're gonna. So they do a lot of fighting. It's brutal. I love the fact that he got hit, because this wasn't one of those, like, to your point where you were saying like this is boomer like jerk off fantasies. Like, it wasn't one of those. If this would have been done in the 80s, he wouldn't have been touched.
No punches landed.
No punches landed on him. Like,
exactly.
if this would have been in the 80s, but they show Hutch getting hurt. They show him getting fucking kicked through the window. Like, he's hurt. Like, he's not. This is not Superman. This is not fucking Chris Evans, Captain America taking. Like, this is like there's gonna be some damage taken. He turns his watch around. Somebody takes a knife. Somebody takes a knife out. He starts fucking stabbing motherfuckers. Which I immediately was like, that's murder. This is murder right now. this is
Yes, we've crossed the line. This is no longer blowing off some steam. This is, I'm going to end your life.
And well, in his defense, it was defense. It was self-defense. They took the knife out on him. It wasn't like he took the knife out. So so they do that. He performs a tracheotomy on somebody. He fucking
technically
crushes some guy's windpipe.
Yeah, he did it. I would say the only difference is you're supposed to put whatever airway you place in at a downward angle towards the lungs, so that there's no like resistance. So you put it this way so that there's less a chance that it could get occluded, getting stuck to the bottom of the back of the windpipe. But that's about it. Usually what's put in is beveled so that I'm sorry, that's not what this podcast is about.
I was like, how long is he going to go into medical kicks? Medical flicks, like Medflix.
Whoops, yeah, Medflix. Sorry, my bad. But yeah, he did it.
I was letting you cook. I was like, go ahead, man. You do what you got to do, I guess. It's a public service announcement. Public service announcement on how to perform tracheotomies. Like, oh, okay, sure, I guess.
It's technically called a cricothyrotomy, but we could, I'm sorry.
But of course.
But not inaccurate, but at least it shows that he didn't kill. Did he kill all of them? Or he didn't kill anyone.
He didn't kill any of them.
He didn't kill.
We later find out in the next scene. We find out that he went. They're all in a hospital, in the same room. Which
right, yeah,
realistic, of course. Yeah.
I get it.
So he gets home. This is a nice touch, because this, if you're not paying attention, this is a nice touch. He gets home and he tells his wife that he misses her while she cleans him up, and he says like the good old days, or bring back memories, or something to that effect.
Yeah, so his wife's in on it.
Where his wife is in on it, right? Because up until this point, we don't think that his wife is in on it.
She's just kind of mean to him.
Yeah, well, not mean,
like,
just not mean.
Indifferent,
aloof,
like
indifferent, aloof. Yeah. I would definitely say You've only been married 3 years, Mike. Just wait till you get there.
I know. But also at this stage, she's putting super glue on his cuts. Also an accurate use. It's called Dermabond. It's used very commonly in the ER, but don't put it in the cut. Use it to hold the edges of the outside of the skin.
Right.
Because otherwise you can occlude the vessels and you can get scarring and tissue death. So you want to hold the cut closed, a clean line, and then put super glue on the top so that it holds the edges together like you would with butterfly stitches or something. And it keeps it, and also it keeps the germs out for a little while. So you have to make sure it's very clean. Otherwise you lock anything in there. But accurate stuff. Medflix. Welcome
to Medflix. Yeah. So he gets home. He tells his wife that he misses her while she cleans him up. We cut to a scene that says,
wait, he's like, I know I look like a used tampon right now, but we should fuck, right? Like, I know I'm like covered in fun,
and we haven't made love in even longer. And I was like,
Meanwhile, he's like bleeding. Like, I know I have a ton of open wounds right now, but how about sex?
Chicks digs scars. I mean, that's a thing.
These are pre-scars. These are not even just wounds.
Yeah, these are wounds. Chicks dig wounds.
Chicks dig wounds. And then but you see, she deactivates the pillow wall.
Yes,
she removes the pillow
chicks
wall.
Dig wounds, bro. I'm gonna tell you this, bro. Come on, man. Come on.
This movie sending a message.
We cut to a scene that says Julian on the screen, and I swear to God, I didn't know if that was a city in Russia. Right. I didn't know what the fuck that was. I was like, where are we? I didn't know, because I'm so used to the Marvel formula of like them showing you the city, like Queens, and it was just like Julian, and you're like, Julian. I'm like, where the fuck is Julian? Like,
what is Julian?
I didn't. I literally said, "Where is Julian?" I thought to myself, "Where is Julian?"
This is another example of efficiency because they show him like not stopping for traffic.
Yes,
and it's like, oh, he doesn't stop for traffic. This guy's a badass. And then
yeah.
he's like,
I literally wrote that. I said an old man parks across the street from a dance club. He crosses the street without looking, and the cars almost hit him, but he never flinches.
Yeah.
And I was like, what a great way of saying like how much of a look at this badass. Like that's a great introductory in like this movie is really great at introducing characters, and immediately we, the audience, know what kind of characters these are. We know the douchebag, we know the douchebag brother-in-law within seconds. We know the Julian badass boss within seconds. We know what the fuck he is. He's a badass boss, right?
He walks into the club, and I was like, "What in the Russian bullshit is this?" I said it out loud.
Yeah, he
on stage.
He does a bump of coke and then gets on stage with the singer, and you're like,
so clearly he's important. Otherwise, they wouldn't have. Clearly, and everybody knows who he is. He's got the worst dance moves of all time, and people are still cheering him.
I don't think so. I think these are like very, very accurate Russian dance moves.
And then they introduce the scene where they show like him negotiating, and he like really fucks up some dude, and they're like, oh, and he's crazy, get it? You know, like, oh, he's a loose cannon. And so like immediately we know who this guy is.
Yeah, so he joins other guys in suits upstairs. And then he asks if they're satisfied with the security of the Opshank. We have no idea what Opshank is, but we just get told the word Opshank. And they say yes, but it has its oddities. And then one of them asks about the quote, the black guy, to which the black guy replies, "Careful with your words, or I'll feed them back to you in perfect Russian."
Yeah.
And so you're like, there's a black Russian. I thought it was just an alcoholic beverage, but apparently it's a thing.
He explains his lineage in 3 seconds. Boom! This movie's efficient.
Yeah, and then we see them. One of the guys in suits that Julian singing. One of the guys in suits tells them that Julian singing and dancing doesn't inspire confidence. He breaks a martini glass, returns to a guy that didn't smile after his performance. The one guy that didn't fucking clap after his performance. He goes up to him with broken shards of the martini glass, kills him, like cuts his face up and then kills him brutally.
Brutal. That was brutal. Yeah. I was like, that was the first. I think that's been the first time in a minute where I'm just like, when they show him doing that thing, I was like, oh.
I am so because you're a medical professional, I'm sure maybe you don't get this, but like I can see people getting shot in movies all day and I don't flinch, but when people get cut of any kind, anytime you see a cut, I'm like, it's always like, oh Jesus Christ, like it's
Nick
always
Swardson has a good bit about getting stabbed, because when you get shot, you're like, oh, I'm shot. But if you're getting stabbed, you're like, I'm getting stabbed. Oh no, it's coming back. Like, you know, if you're there the whole time, you see it, you like know it's happening.
Yeah, it's not like it's not the speed of a bullet, obviously, right? So anytime I see in a movie, I can't even see somebody get stabbed or cut, because I'm always like, cut is more so than stabbed. Stabbed, I'm like, okay, but when you see cut, they usually follow it with the sound, with the folio sound of
that is brutal.
So then one of the guys in suits says he was a 3% shareholder in Opshank, but now he's sharing his equity. Hey, and everybody celebrates. And immediately I put myself.
I just start shooting people. I want more equity, bitches. Let's go.
This is a very primal version of every stockholders meeting. And any CEO boardroom is like, well, so is out. That means we get a bumper, we get a raise. Like so, got caught with bad things in his computer. He's arrested. Well, that means the rest of us get more money. It's like, what? Julian gets a call, and we see the blonde guy from the bus in a hospital bed. Julian asks if he'll walk again. The doctor says that they are monitoring his vitals, but the damage to his brain, the swelling to his brain. And then the black security guard reads the chart and tells Julian that his little brother is fucked. Quote, real fucked.
Real fucked.
Properly fucked. Like with a cummerbund and everything. It's like very formally fucked. Julian then goes to the hospital room where the other members of the douchebag parade are conveniently all in. They're all in one. Like it's convenient, right? Like that's
yeah.
It's
It
the
saves
medical
time.
system, dude. It's the medical
Yeah,
system.
yeah.
Like you can't have
These
your
guys
own
all
private
came in
room.
together, throw them in the same room.
Yeah,
Never
that's
happens.
fine.
Yeah.
And so he beats one of them up with a chair. Ask who did this. The guy says a guy. He says, one man. Are you fucking with me? And then he continues to beat him with a chair. And then the whole time I kept thinking cocaine's a hell of a drug. I was like, Jesus Christ, this guy is crazy. One of the douchebags tells Julian that he didn't even like Teddy. Julian acknowledges
that was literally I wrote down where he it's like that he's like, hey, you got me, you know, like I didn't even. It's like fair point, you know, like you got me.
Fair point, but it's still family. We can't choose our family. And he says we can't choose our family. He says your words are not inaccurate.
Right. He's just like, and it's also like a dude in the hospital where he's like all fucked up, and he's like, what a weird thing to be as the defense, right? Like, it's like, no, he's not even. He's telling the truth. I saw he did this and this and this. It's like not even trying to back up his story. It's more like you didn't even like that motherfucker anyway, and that's what gets him. You know, like I always thought.
I love the fact that he goes. I love the fact that he started that guy that said that you don't even like your brother. He started the sentence with, "Please don't get more upset."
I understand you're upset.
I understand you're upset. Please don't get more upset. But you don't even like your brother, and
you don't even like this guy.
Yuli's like, fair point. That's a fair point.
Fair.
That's fair.
He's like, you're right. I don't like him. All forgiven.
He asked, how can he find this man? One of the other guys in a hospital bed, douchebags, he holds up the bloody Metro card that the police and hospital staff just forgot to take off of him when they.
I'm not 100% sure what that fucking means, but it was just so funny where it's like Metro card. As somebody who lived in New York and used a Metro card all the time, that shit falls out of like you find them on the ground all the time. How do you use it? You can't track nobody with that shit. You buy it at a kiosk. You know what I mean? Like it's not like a debit card or a credit card, but whatever. Anyway, but I was like, all right, whatever. I guess that's.
I was caught up. I was just caught. It's funny that you thought that because I was immediately like, when they admitted you into the hospital, they didn't take that away from you. Don't they take your clothes off and like, don't they do all this? Like, don't they take this shit off of you? Like, I don't understand. The cops, don't they do this? Like the hospital staff, don't they do this? And then I was like, oh wait, they allow you kittens, cat food, and Metro cards. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. We're good. We're back on track. The next morning, Hutch is in a great mood, which is fantastic.
He might as well have been whistling. He might as well have been whistling.
He might as well have been like any other movie, you would be like, oh, this guy just got laid.
He's literally Ron Swanson in that episode where they're like, oh, that's when Ron has sex. Yeah. He's that right now. He's
so happy. Yeah, he's so happy that he had to get wounds crazy glued onto. Like it's great. It's great.
Funny.
He's in a great mood. He compliments his son and tells him that he's proud of him for having his back. He gets a call from Harry, and I only know that because of the closed captions. I only know the guy's name is Harry because of the closed captions.
Right, yeah.
I do not know. They have not verbally said his name yet. And we don't verbally get his name until the fucking last scene of the movie.
Yeah. Okay? Hutch and Harry. And what was his dad's name? I don't remember his dad's name.
Dad.
But yeah, they don't. Do they even say his name?
Nope.
It's just Dad. Nope. Great.
And so, you know what? They may have said the orderly may have said his name. He may have said his name, but I don't remember. Okay, so he gets a call from Harry, and Harry asked him how it felt last night, and Hutch says it felt like Salvation Day, and Harry's happy for him, but tells him that one of those guys was, quote, ask the barber, he knows. He goes, do you know who one of those guys was? And he goes, no. And he goes, well, ask the barber, he knows. And then Hutch offers to make lasagna for dinner. And then I'm like, avoidance. You just get told bad news. And he's like, how about lasagna? And I'm like,
how about lasagna? Honestly, when he said lasagna, I realized I hadn't had lasagna in a long time. And I was like, oh, I want lasagna. Like literally something triggered in my brain.
I don't want to get into a woo bro rant here, but I just came back from 3 weeks in Europe, and the best lasagna I've ever had in my fucking life was in Rome. And I'm not a lasagna guy. I am not a lasagna guy. I had it begrudgingly because the tour guide who I made friends with was like, where are you going tomorrow? And I said, Naples. And she goes, in Naples, you get pizza. In Rome, you get pasta. So she kind of like talked me into getting the lasagna. I don't really like lasagna. I don't, red sauce to me is too much. It's too heavy. It gives me heartburn. And then I had this lasagna, and it was the best lasagna I've ever had in my fucking life. It was so GD good. It was fucking bonkers.
GD, what are you, a parental guide person?
Yeah, I'm a parental guy. I'm doing a call back to a parental guide thing.
Cool.
It's like, that's why I said it's so GD fucking good. And so it was fucking amazing. The best lasagna I've ever had in my it was so fucking great.
Fuck, I wish I would have went there.
It was phenomenal. Anyways, so Hutch gets a text.
Family dinner, like he's reunited. Like he just got laid. He's Ron Swansoning. Everybody suddenly he's like, my wife is into me again. My son respects me a little bit more now. I guess
chicks dig open wounds, man.
Chicks dig open gaping wounds.
Hutch gets a text from an unknown number that says go see the barber. Hutch goes to a barber and asks about Julian. And this is what I like. I like this. It says short story long. Yes. He's as bad as they come, a connected, funded sociopath with resources to make things complicated. And I thought, what a concise, great way of like encapsulating what we've partially already known as the audience. We get that already, but I love the fact that he says a connected, funded sociopath with resources to make things complicated. And I thought it was a perfect amount of exposition. And then the guy says, rich, crazy, bad. Done. Got it. I got it. That's it. Rich, crazy, bad.
They also describe, this is the scene where they describe what the Ob Shack is. And so here's another thing. This is why I love that. This is why I think it was written for like boomers. Because first of all, boomers love a barbershop. They love a barber. Boomers love that shit. And then he describes the Ob Shack as a 401k. Come on, this is boomer ass.
I love so not to lean into my boomer things, but I love seeing the thought of somebody getting a close shave, a barber shave. Like a shave at a barbershop. That's fucking dope. Like I have a beard. I don't shave, but I just like the idea of a barber. Like, hey, you know what I mean? Like,
you've ever done it for your head?
No, at a barber, no. I've done it. No, I just do my. So I just can't find myself. I can't bring myself.
Dreams, Neri. Live your dreams.
I can't bring myself to paying money for something that I can do at home for free. I can't. It's
that's
just
the
hard.
Latino in you. You understand?
Yeah,
that's the
man.
Latino in you. So
that's
hard.
That's
the immigrant in you.
That's the living paycheck to paycheck in me. That's the that's the making ends meet. I have 3 children that I gotta provide for thing. Like I don't know. All right, so he said we see Julian in a room of people with computers asking about Hutch, and a woman says that they found his dad in a nursing home. She says she wouldn't worry about Hutch. He seems to be as vanilla as they come. And then he says, if you're not able to see a sheep in wolf's clothing, I worry about your possibilities of being
with this company or something.
With this company, something being employed. That's what it was. I worry about your future being employed. And then she says, I'll have my contact at the Pentagon. And then she goes, one blackmail package coming up. And she just does a blackmail package of somebody working at the Pentagon, which I thought was great. Super efficient because the guy didn't even speak words. The guy, so we finally find out what the Ob Shack is, which is basically the 401k for the Russian mob. Julian is the current babysitter, and we get told that he doesn't even want that job anymore. He's tired of that job, but it is what it is. The Pentagon nerd gets a bunch of redacted forms and sends it to the Russian computer nerd. And this is very efficient. She widens her eyes, packs her shit, throws the file at Julian's feet, and says, quote, I'm out. No need to pay. Good luck. That's how scary Hutch is. She's I'm fucking out of here. Like, she's used to dealing with the Russian mob, and she sees something in these files that goes, I got nothing, bro. Like,
she threw it with disrespect to scattering the papers. Like, I don't give a fuck who you are. Flop. I've seen you kill somebody with a martini glass. Fuck you. Don't pay me.
Don't pay me. I'm out. Okay. I'm gonna go lock myself in that tattoo parlor shop with that fucking guy. Like, I'm so lost.
Click. Yeah.
Julian makes a phone call, says that he wants him alive. Hutch is at home and tells his family they should go to Italy for vacation because, as somebody who just came back from Italy, I agree. It's a fucking great place. You should go for vacation. It's fantastic.
I gotta go back.
Place. He sees cars pull up with bad guys and rushes his family into the basement. He unlocks a secret pad and kisses his wife, and then says, "quote Don't call 911," which is the most G shit ever.
I literally wrote. I was like, my God, who wrote this? Because both good and bad. Because it is cheat. It's like again. I'm watching this with the boomer fantasy mind of like somebody like a guy in Hutch's position in real life would see that and be like, yeah, don't call 911. You know what I mean? Like, but then it's also super relevant, efficient. Like it makes sense, right? To don't call 911. But here's my complaint: take the lasagna with you. What are you doing? You just made fresh lasagna.
But also that looked like trash. That lasagna looked like trash.
It looked like somebody's dad's lasagna. It looked like
white guy lasagna. It is. By the way, do you know who wrote this film?
No.
Derek Kolstad. Do you know who Derek Kolstad is?
No.
He is the writer and producer of the John Wick franchise.
Oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. Also, some of the John Wick guys I recognize some of the guys because there's a new documentary called Wick is Pain about the making of John Wick. And I've been watching it and I saw one of the dudes. He's one of the dudes on the bus. One of the guys, like one of the main dudes at the John Wick company is on the bus.
Yeah. So I know a lot of these comparisons are valid because it's written by the same guy who wrote John Wick. So, same guy.
Fair enough.
Like, what if John Wick was on a bus?
There's a lot of those movies. Like,
actually,
for a while there was...
which one comes first? Does this predate? Does nobody predate John Wick?
No, John Wick was way before. John Wick was like 2014. The first one. It was like a long time ago.
But this okay, so nobody was 2021. Yeah. Okay. All right, so back to the movie. So here's why I like that line, don't call 911. Every other action movie, even the hero goes, call 911. They tell people call 911. And this is the first time to my recollection that the hero makes it a point to say, don't call 911. Like,
I don't need no help.
No,
I'm a man in my 40s.
I think it's the other way around. I took it as more as I don't want to get in trouble because what I'm about to do is going to get me in trouble.
Right.
So that's how I took it. I didn't take it as I'm a badass. I took it as in like I don't want the fuzz. Don't call the coppers.
Don't blow up my spot. Yeah.
So the guys approach the house with guns. Hutch turns off the lights. They raid the house. Hutch beats up two of them with a baseball bat. Then, like Bo Jackson, cracks the bat in half over his knee and stabs the bad guy with one of the broken halves of the bat. And I just thought to myself, Bo knows how to murk a motherfucker. That's what Bo knows. Holy shit.
My first thought is was they might also be vampires, right? Like you don't know the situation. They might also be vampires because he stabs him in the heart with a wooden stake. He literally does it. I was like, he's like, I heard the accent, and I was like, I want to suck your blood. I was like, oh, not me. You never know. You can never be too careful. You can never be too careful.
Right? What if he would have killed him with a baseball bat, or what he thought was killing him with a baseball bat, and then he does the rise, and you're like, no, I didn't stab you. I should have stabbed you. Oh no,
I did.
Better safe than sorry, folks.
Chekhov's lasagna. Some dude gets a lasagna to the face, and apparently, I was like, no. I was watching with my wife, and we were both like, no, the lasagna.
I felt so bad for that guy. I was like, bro, that guy's getting his ass beat. He's getting killed, and then he gets smushed into that shitty ass lasagna. That's just those insult to injury. Like, you don't need to insult him by putting his face in that shitty fucking lasagna. That was the worst looking lasagna I've ever seen in my life. Holy fuck.
It was not great.
It was great in the sense of super realistic. Like, I don't expect a guy like Hutch, who's lived his life in the military, to know how to cook a good lasagna. Like, you don't know how to cook good lasagna. It's like, that's good. It's
fair.
The best white. It's like, you might as well have made a taco night with those pre-made taco shells. I was like, oh God, get out of here.
I'm an ardent defender of white people taco night. I love a good white people taco night. It's not the same, but I love a good white people taco night. But also, this is very apt for this is a white people lasagna night.
So this is what I'm saying to you. Like, you don't need So white people taco night is not as good as taco night. It's not as good as real taco night. There's nothing to say that it's not good. It's just there's a clear distinction between white people taco night and taco night.
Yeah, sometimes sometimes you're in the mood. Look, man, nobody goes to McDonald's because it's good food. They go because I want a Big Mac or whatever. You're craving
you go there
it.
because it's just convenience. Honestly, you just go for convenience. You just be real. Hutch then grabs a knife from the kitchen, kills another one, stabs another one, kills one with a hot tea pot kettle, shoots a few more, and then finally they're able to tase him in the neck. So I think the body count was 5 that Hutch took out.
I lost track. Who knows how many?
Well, he lines them up. He lines them up at one point afterwards. He does line them up. So
there was 6. There was 4 on the couch. I know that.
Yeah, there's 4 on the couch. So that's 4. The body count is 4. And then and then the 3 in the car, right? So then the bad guys put him in the trunk of the car. Hutch breaks his thumb to get out of the handcuffs, as one does. And opens the trunk. He takes a fire extinguisher from the trunk and sprays the front of the car. The car hits a pole, and then we see the car flip. Great conversation here. He tells a Black Russian that he's never met a Black Russian before. Right, and the Black Russian goes, I get that a lot. He then explains who he is because the Black Russian asks him, who are you? And he goes, I used to be an auditor for those 3-letter agencies. The last guy that they want at their door, and then I couldn't arrest anybody, so I made sure that there was nobody left to ... And then he realizes that Black Russian is dead.
Right.
Like he's now monologuing. Yes. He's now was it monologuing? Yeah, he's monologuing to a dead guy. He's like, oh shit. All right.
I love because there's this moment he's like, all right, the writers are like, time for some exposition. Oh, he's dead.
Yeah. Which I think is great comedy. Like there's such little hidden moments of comedy in this movie.
Yes, yeah.
Where you go, oh yeah, because
that's a running joke. It happened, whatever. But also it reminds me of the scene at the end of Iron Man 3, I think or 2, where he's talking to
Bruce Banner.
Tony Stark.
I'm not this kind of doctor. Yeah,
like that feeling of like, oh, you've just been telling this whole story to nobody. There's always that feeling of like we're like, ah, damn it.
Yeah,
I thought it was very.
It reminded me of the scene from. It reminded me of the scene from Tropic Thunder when a guy's talking about Blu-rays versus HD DVDs, and then Robert Downey Jr. goes, "Have you been talking to me this whole time?" And then he goes, and he goes, "Well, yeah, you or anybody who's listening." And it's like, no, nobody's listening to you, dude. Nobody's like fucking cares.
That's funny.
Hutch then runs home. He calls his pop to tell him that the thing that he had to get to has escalated. He gives him a heads up. Hutch gets his family out of the basement, puts them in the car with luggage, tells his wife that he will explain later, and she takes this rather well.
She
like
does.
all of this.
She's totally in on everything. She knows there's dead bodies everywhere. He covers the eyes of the little girl, which I thought was important. He did not cover the eyes or tell the boy to do anything else. He's like, you need to see this, son.
Well, if he's asking for wine with shitty lasagna, he's old enough to fucking see this.
You got to drink to eat that garbage. You said, but he does cover the kid's eyes, which I thought was very nice. I even wrote in my notes, I was like, if this guy gets Doc Brown killed, I'm going to be pissed. Thinking that I didn't, but the reveal later was so much. But I was already worried. I was worried about Doc Brown.
Because we're worried about the elderly, isn't it? Isn't it a thing that we're just like,
old.
He's so old. It's like that Billy Madison. It's like, look at her. She's old. You can't take away her house. She's old.
Happy Gilmore. What
did I say? Billy Madison?
Yeah.
That's right. You're right. It is Happy Gilmore. Yeah, you're right.
When he puts his wife in the car and she believes him and takes it seriously because she's in on it. She's like, apparently this is good. I wrote, this guy must be thinking, look at all the hoops I have to jump through just to get to my wife to fuck me. Like, come on.
Yeah.
And then they leave. But like they do genuinely like. I wonder do they have a plan? Because it's the guy, the Russian dude found him and everybody and all that stuff like. With technology, like they could find out where this car is, where the lady went,
The only thing I was wishing, as from a writer's perspective, is if she would have says, "Where do we go?" I wanted her to say, "Where do we go?"
Yeah,
and he says, "Don't go to your family and don't tell me where you went." Like that's what I wanted him to tell his wife. Don't tell me,
right.
and don't go to your families, and don't tell me, and don't tell me. I'll figure it out later. You know what I mean? Because I wanted that piece of exposition or that piece of story so that he tells her, like, don't even tell me, dude.
Don't even tell me. Yeah. I don't even know. Yeah.
All right. So Hutch takes all these gold bars, which immediately invoked John Wick, and immediately I go, there's a connection here with John Wick. This is
in the same universe for sure.
This is too coincidental. And then I looked up, oh yeah, that's the same writer. So there's gold bars. Hutch
I'm sorry, is this the part where there's like because there's not always narration where you can hear his inner monologue. It pops up like infrequently, but when he's talking, there's a moment in this thing where I think it's when he gets everybody into the basement. I think that's the part I'm thinking of. Yeah.
So Hutch takes all these gold bars out of hiding, and then this is the way Wikipedia puts it, which is hilarious. He monologues to the mortally injured attackers.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah.
I had written he starts telling exposition, and then Wikipedia was like he monologues to the mortally injured. I'm like, yes, that is a better way of saying it.
He monologues to the mortally injured. That's really funny.
Yeah, he monologues to the mortally injured attackers that he is a former auditor, which is an assassin. And on his last job in Europe, he spared a repentant target who later reformed and lived happily with his new family. And Hutch got upset about that. Hutch was so pissed because he fully expected to see this guy back to his old tricks, back to his old ways, and he goes no. And Hutch was so jealous of this guy. That's what he wanted. He realized he wanted a similar peaceful life. Hutch retired and settled down, and said that he loved it, and that, did I overcorrect? Yeah. And he goes, there might have been an overcorrection, and then he looks and he realizes they're all dead already.
Yes, people would rather die than listen to this guy give his. I'm a warrior in a garden, not a gardener.
I don't want to hear your fucking origin story. I don't want to hear your fucking origin story, you motherfucker.
I'd rather just die. And then, but because at this point also he threatens that he's going to burn, like they're not going to find your bones, essentially.
Yeah. Well, he says, this is another piece of great comedy. He finds the kitty cat bracelet under the table. This whole movie was for naught.
Wait, I thought it was one of the guys had it.
No. He finds it under the table. Like he looks under the floor, like it's under the TV nightstand thing. And he picks it up and he goes, oh, look at that. And he's just like, look, and it was here the whole time. Like this whole movie was avoidable. This whole movie,
there was a ton of those moments.
Everything that was set in motion was because of this fucking kitty cat bracelet. That was the excuse that he needed. That was a straw that broke the camel's back to, like, I gotta get my daughter's kitty cat bracelet.
Everything was set in motion by the American medical system being for profit. Come on, we got to talk about how that's the whole impetus of this movie. Is these people were desperate.
I can't wait for the Free Luigi movie. I can't wait. This guy should write. The same writer of the Nobody and John Wick franchise should write Free Luigi.
Yes, I'm for it. You heard it here first.
So he says, fun fact, bone burns to ash at 1500 degrees, and this basement is designed to burn at double that, so they won't be finding them among the rubble.
Yes.
And I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That is brutal.
The thing that bothered me also is, like, in all these movies, there's like, this is like his man cave or whatever you want to pull it with. Again, boomer shit. But it has like
is this bad?
It's like his record collection is there. It's like his space.
I thought it was just a living room. I didn't know it was specifically because that's where they found the kitty cat bracelet, and it's in the living room.
I'm not saying the kid can't go into the man cave. I'm just saying that's like his space, right? It feels very much like he owns that space, and then it becomes a question of like all of that stuff he did, like he's literally destroying everything he's ever owned, apparently, like all those records and all that stuff, because you're listening to him constantly. And I did like the record sparking, like that was the magic record, like he pulls the magic one, and it's What a Wonderful World, which I was like, okay. And that's the one that it starts sparking so that it lights everything.
This whole movie
has pretty good.
This whole movie has great James Gunn level
music drops. Yeah.
Music drops. It has really
The
impressive
needle
music
drop,
drops.
yeah.
Because it's always a lot. For the most part, there are songs that are contrary to what's happening on screen, and I thought that's a great touch because they show you what a wonderful life when the place is burning up, and you know, it's great. Hutch burns the house down, decides to steal his neighbor's Dodge Charger. It goes from 0 to 60, and we're about to find the fuck out.
Boomer shit.
I don't know if that's boomer shit. I think, first of all, I was very confused as to, like, he unlocked a car across the street, like, boop, boop, and I was like, you've been taking the bus the whole time?
No, I thought that was the attackers.
Oh,
car.
You're right. Okay, thank you, because that was very confused. I was like, why are you taking the bus this whole time if you have two cars?
Yeah. But here's why I say boomer shit. This is like boomer fantasy shit, because he has a car. It's going to be nondescript. It'll be easy for him to get around and not get caught doing anything. It's like a good undercover car.
No, but he doesn't want that.
I'm gonna get.
But he doesn't want that. We later see him literally eat dinner in front of like, he does not want no attention. He wants all the smoke because they went to his family. He wants all the smoke. So we see two bad guys go into Doc Brown's room and they try to kill him, but he's a former FBI agent that when he time traveled with a child, he was able to go through the agency. So he gets the jump on these two bad guys. The sleeping front desk guy runs into the room after hearing the two shotgun blasts kill the bad guys, and he tells Doc Brown to turn the TV down.
Turn the TV down. It was like, what kind of sound system do you have in this nursing home for that to be real? And also, Christopher Lloyd ain't going out like no bitch. He's
and I love the fact that that guy was still like choking on his own blood while the guy was like, turn on the volume, and he's like, I'll put the volume down, and he's like literally just holding his, like, it's such a G move. You go, yes.
He's an old frail man, Christopher Lloyd, but like, I like believing that he's this tough motherfucker, you know.
Of course.
I suspend disbelief.
Well,
also,
and I
do
also
these shotguns not have any kickback, because that would have blasted his shoulder off. You know, like, he's just like, click, boom. It would have drilled through him out the back of the chair. Like, he's a frail old 90-year-old man.
But also very believable as to what kind of gun an old man would have.
That's true. Yeah, he's like,
because aiming is no longer his thing. We're not. Yeah, you know, your eyesight is not at the point at that age where you're going to be aiming for shit. You're like, no.
I have to credit.
It's like that Bill Burr joke. It's like, you got a shotgun, you have a problem over here, you no longer have a problem over here. Like, that's what that shotgun does. It's like, there's no longer a problem.
I have to credit my wife for a joke, because she was like, she was laughing because as soon as she shoots him, he's like, she said something about Back to the Future, like, yeah, this 12 gauge will send you back to the future. And I was just like, oh, hey, all right, baby.
Okay. Hutch buys the company from his father-in-law with the gold bars and tells him to get out. I love the fact that he punches his brother-in-law. His brother-in-law goes, but what would I do? And Hutch says, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, like, it's not my fucking job anymore. Get the fuck out. And he's
the
like,
facade is over. The charade is over. The charade, if you will.
Julian is watching the news of the car accident. He's
the most convenient newscast of all time.
I mean, it's that thing. It was like, who will save us now? And then somebody walks into the room and it's like, that's the hero, right? He calls someone and tells him that and then somebody calls him and tells him that the old men killed their guys and disappeared, which I immediately made my heart feel nice. I'm like, oh, good. The dad got away. That's how I felt. I was like, oh, good.
Yeah.
The dad's safe. We don't have to worry about the dad. He's safe. There's a sign at the front of the company that says the building is experiencing electrical problems and will be closed until further notice. Hutch is inside, and we get a MacGyver-like montage of him sawing, welding, and building things. This is a great montage. This
is a preparation montage a la Commando, or I'll say more accurately, Home Alone. A lot of Home Alone vibes in this scenario.
A lot of Home Alone vibes, a lot of Equalizer vibes, which is just
Equalizer,
which is just Home Alone grown up. It's just Equalizer is Home Alone. If you watch the Equalizer, the first one with Denzel, it is very
Home Alone. This is also very Home Alone-ish. as well, but it's like Home Alone with guns.
Yes,
That's Home Alone. If Kevin McAllister wanted to murder those guys,
well, that's what I'm saying. Well, he did. Kevin McAllister
straight up
motherfuckers. Hutch goes to Julian's first. Hutch then goes to the home of the Obshak, which is the mob hideout, and I guess it's just public knowledge of where the mob.
I don't. Yeah, there's pallets of money just lying around.
Pallets of money. So he goes into the home of the Obshak and kills everybody and burns all the money. And then Hutch goes to Julian's club as Julian is singing, because of course he has to let off some steam. I think he's supposed to be a singer. He just wants to. He
wants to perform. He just wants to entertain.
He just wants to entertain. This is what happens when. This is like the Adolf Hitler thing. Is like he just wants to be a painter, and because you know what I mean, like he didn't succeed in that, he then went the other way. It's kind of like I saw a podcast recently where they talked about Elon Musk. He's like, Elon Musk is gonna fuck over the country because nobody thought he was funny. Yeah, because people didn't think he was funny. Then
now we're dealing with fascism.
Now we're dealing with this shit, because if somebody would have just fucked him, you know, like if somebody would have just thought he was funny, then none of this would have happened. And then you know, whatever. But this is the same thing. So so we go to Julian's.
They did montage, but they did montage this whole thing, the infiltration of the Obshak, They montaged it, and I was like, "What? This is the climax of the movie. They're not gonna." I was wrong. But they montaged it, and they show him like pouring flammable liquid into the sprinkler system. I was like, that's smart, but that takes a lot of work. I was like, you know, I'll let it ride. I'm suspend disbelief.
The only problem that I had with that is then what would stop the gas from getting on you at that point?
I mean, I don't think he was in there when he did I don't know. Again, it's a montage. Right. Yeah, figure it out. You know, that sort of thing.
Did you ever see the episode of South Park where they had where Kenny was controlling the troops of heaven against a war against hell? And it's a video game. It's a video game, and Kenny is so good at the video game. And the way they show you this epic battle is all they show you is an angel on one side, right? Like an angel over here, right next to Kenny, and Kenny playing a video game, and that's all they show you. And then the angel is narrating how great the battle is, and he goes, "Oh my God, look at this amazing battle! Oh, this is so great! This epic battle of good and evil. This is like," and then he's like, "This is like Lord of the Rings, except 10 times better," and blah blah blah. And they just tell you about the battle, but they don't show you the battle because it would just cost too much money to show you the battle. And it's like, and so this is what I thought of when I saw this montage. I'm like, this is so much cheaper. This is so much more affordable. They show you
the whole thing. There's a video where some guy breaks down. I think he's an Australian guy. It's a really good video. Everyone should go watch it. But they break down what the original episode 9 of the Star Wars movies was supposed to be. The script that Colin Trevorrow wrote, and they animate it right in like very simple 3D animation. And then there's this epic space battle, and the characters look at the camera, and he's like, "What is it too expensive to animate?" Anyway, there's an epic space battle, and then it cuts, and then it cuts to the thing. But
it's the Deadpool formula, right? Where he's like, "Oh, I only have 12 bullets," because he forgot his whole bag of guns in the cab, and that was written in because they didn't have the money to show you all the
full thing. He does so at this stage. He does the best Heath Ledger Joker burning a pile of money. Some men just want to see the world burn kind of situation, you know, he just burns all their money. And showing up at his restaurant is baller. Like I was like, okay, that was baller. That was dope.
He shows up to the restaurant, sits in the middle. Yeah. He sits in the middle. He wants all the smoke. And so he goes to Julian's club and watches him sing while sitting dead center eating a meal. And he says, "Are you enjoying your meal?" And he goes, "I came for the show." Which again, great line. I came for the show. Hutch clears the room when he shows that he has his finger on a claymore mine, a la the Joker.
Yes,
a la the Joker.
He might as well have been.
Hutch
know how I got these scars.
Hutch offers Julian one last chance to end the fighting, and he says, "We're not even because you came to my house, to my family, and you know we don't fucking do that."
Yeah.
That's not done. So he goes, we're still not even. And then he tells him that he burned up the op shank, that he burned up all the money, and he goes, we're still not even because you came after my family. But he offers him a chance to let go of the fighting. But we got a warehouse, this is what I put. He offers him a chance to end the fighting, and said, but we got a warehouse full of booby traps to get to, and we did a montage for nothing. We got to get to this fucking montage now. This is what I love. I love that Hutch gets in the car and visibly, literally crosses his fingers.
Yeah,
because he's fucking hoping that he does not take the olive branch.
He literally does. I wish a motherfucker would at that moment.
Yes,
right. Like he does it.
I mean, he verbally says, "You've awoken a dormant part of me that wishes you don't take the deal, but there's another more understandable part of me that hopes you do take the deal." And he's saying to him, "Fuck around and find out, man. This is like, you know."
I will say this, at a certain point, this is where I like, you know, whatever, like this is an action movie. He's walking away from the club. He's far enough away where you could just shoot him. That bomb isn't going to affect anyone but him.
I was the other way around, where I was like, you know, you could just throw the claymore back there and kill all of them at the same time.
Yeah.
Just kill all of them at the same time. Like that would just be whatever. But for the story later, but for story, he's giving the guy, quote unquote, giving the guy a chance to take the olive branch. This is what, now I don't know if you caught this. So when he swings the car around, go get the car. Julian comes out of the car, go get the car or whatever. He swings the car around, right, the Charger. Yeah, and Julian shoots one shot. It barely misses him. I don't know if you caught this. Hutch grins. He smiles like, yes. This is what I fucking wanted.
I wish a motherfucker would. He's like,
yes, I'm glad. And he's saying, I'm glad he did. I'm glad a motherfucker did is what he's saying. There's a pretty cool car chase. We get a car chase. We get a pretty cool car chase to the warehouse where his dad and the RZA Harry are waiting to back him up.
RZA with the sniper.
RZA was a sniper. He kills several waves of mobsters. There's gun shooting, rebar launchers, grenades, barbed wires, hand-to-hand combat. This whole fucking scene is so fire, dude. It's so great.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty great. Here's the only thing I kept laughing at was Christopher Lloyd shooting shotguns with no recoil was very funny to me, where it was like it was also weird, like in my mind, the RZA and Doc Brown are in a gun battle.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me.
Sure. It was, but I was like laughing so hard. But I will say this, at some point there were some very cool moments in so let's talk about, I don't think of this movie as a martial arts movie. It's an action movie because the fighting isn't very like, it has some martial arts, but it's a lot of just like brawling more than anything. And then with this, it's a gunfight, you know. So at a certain point, the RZA does.
But RZA does hand to hand at the same time. He does hand to hand in the meantime.
I'm not saying hand to hand. I'm just saying that it doesn't have what I would consider like a technique. It's all just like fucking, you know. And it is. I'm not saying it's choreographed, so it looks good. I'm not saying it's not a bad fight scene. I'm just saying with a martial arts, I want to be able to like look at it and be like, that is a trained fighting style or something like that. I don't know. There's something about, to define it as a KICKFLIX movie, I don't, you know, we'll see. But in this action sequence, there's a ton of really good gunfighting and a lot of good like hand-to-hand stuff. At a certain point, RZA shoots a gun off like right next to his ear. And I'm like, okay, you would be deaf for the rest of your life. Like you would not, you'd be like,
you would be Sylvester Stallone in that movie. In Copland.
Yes. He does one of my favorite things in action movies, the Indiana Jones does it, the triple kill, the bullet goes through multiple people. Yeah, he does one of those. I was like, yeah, triple kill, you know, like I was like, yeah. And then I even put in my notes, do none of these guns have kickbacks? So it's always just like pa, 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 pa. No one is like the guns don't feel as hard as they should.
It's John Wick universe, bro. They don't have any kickback. This is the thing. I love the line where he says, "You brought a lot of shotguns And then he says, well, you brought a lot of bad guys. But it's so funny because it's like, because even he noticed it immediately. He's like, you could have just brought other guns. Do you just have shotguns? Is it shotguns the only gun that you have? And then I immediately thought to myself,
want to aim.
He's like, I cannot aim. I'm fucking old as fuck. I cannot aim. I sit 2.5 feet away from my TV. I sit 2.5 feet away from my TV. I cannot aim. Yeah. So they kill several waves of mobsters. Gun shooting, rebar launchers. I talked about that. Julian manages to get the drop on them.
Right.
He wounds Harry. Everybody's out of ammo. Hutch tackles Julian, armed with a claymore taped to the panel of a bulletproof glass. Apparently, that's what they make at that factory, which we never know what they make.
No,
so
you never. It's just
good.
constructed. I was like, wait, is this whole thing an ad for hurricane windows? Is that what this is? Safety glass? It's a safety glass ad because he straps the claymore. The Chekhov's claymore, and he puts it onto the thing, and he wraps the wire around, and then he just like runs at the dude, and there's like bullets hitting the thing, and I was like, this isn't whatever company is. That's a good product.
It's Safe Light. It's Safe Light.
Safe Light repair, Safe Light replace.
Yeah, Safe Light repair, Safe Light replace.
It's
Claymore.
Wonderful.
Claymore.
But it's straight up like, it was like the perfect ad for it because it's like real use, like real life use, testing the product. I believe in my product so much that I'm going to stand here.
Remember that Hoover guy that used to stand underneath the vacuum cleaner that was holding the bowling ball? It's like, fuck. Ooh, really? I'm going to stand behind my bulletproof glass and get shot multiple times.
Claymore. Yeah. Set up a claymore mine. And that was a really good effect. Like that he was running, he was running at him and it went boom and it hit him. And all I can think about is every one of these dudes is deaf now. As someone with hearing loss from tinnitus, from like years of brutalizing my ears, I'm like, every one of these people, all they hear is because they're just like, what? That's every line after this battle should have just been, what are you saying? What? Like,
where'd you get the cat?
Yeah.
So Hutch finds the cat in the rubble, which is the thing that was in the duck in the beginning of the movie. There was a thing that, what is it, a raccoon, a snake? And they're like, we don't know what it is. It ended up being a cat. Hutch finds a cat in the rubble, and we cut back to the beginning of the movie where the authorities ask him who he is. They then get a phone call, and we assume that it's some high-level agency that's involved to let Hutch go.
Sure. Yeah.
We get 3 months later. Hutch and his family, they've returned to normal life and they're buying a new house. Hutch receives a phone call hinting that trouble may be on the way. And then the wife asks, does this place have a basement? Again, she lets you know that she's cool with it. And then that's
the movie.
Well, and then we get a mid-credit scene.
Oh, really? Oh, no, I didn't watch it. What's in the mid-credits?
With a mid-credit scene shows Harry, and we find out the guy's name is David. The dad's name is David. Again,
that's when we find out?
I only find this out because of the closed captions.
Oh.
That's the only reason funny. I find this out. And David and Harry are shown carrying a ton of fucking guns in a family camper, and they're presumably traveling across the border. And they're like, why couldn't we fly? And he's like, would this car go? And then they turn back and they see a bunch of fucking guns. And so that's it. That's the main credits.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I want to say, man, how do I? So basically they're going to Mexico.
We don't know. I just Wikipedia says presumably across the border, but we don't know what border. We don't know what border. We don't know if it's state border. We don't know if it's.
That's true. That's fair.
So we don't know.
I wrote in my notes because I didn't watch the mid-credit scene, but I wrote in my notes, I hope Nobody 2 is like True Lies, where like Jamie Lee Curtis at the end of the movie is now in on it and is part of it. I want to see him and his wife doing coupley shit while like
from the
Mr.
trailer,
and Mrs. Smith style.
From the trailer, you kind of get that.
I haven't seen it. Do you want to watch the trailer here? Because we did this movie. Nobody 2 is coming up. If you want to watch, August. Let me see. Nobody 2.
It's August 15th. It comes out August 15th.
Let me present so we can watch it. But let's do our ranking that we've watched. Once again, this episode of KickFLIX is longer than the actual movie we are reviewing. So
Is it? How long is the movie?
An hour 32.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So we win or whatever.
We win.
The what do you so in terms of is this a KickFlix movie?
I think anything with hand-to-hand combat immediately counts as KickFlix movie. I don't know what like my parameters have never been like it has to be a discernible Asian.
Not Asian.
Like I'm giving it. I'm
capoeira is the thing.
I'm giving an exaggerated.
No, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
But I never had that because to me fencing is not that. To me,
right, yeah, interesting, good point.
So I just thought if you have hand-to-hand combat, it's automatically
some sort of martial art.
I think it's a KickFlix because the military, presumably the military trained these guys to fight. The military trained them in some kind of way.
Right.
If we're using that, I never had that like it's a KickFlix movie. To me, it's a KickFlix movie. If you have hand-to-hand combat, it's a KickFlix movie.
Got it.
That's what I don't know. That's just me. But I'm not. I don't die on that hill. Like if you tell me, no, it's not a martial art movie, I would just very much like The Accountant. If you told me this was not a martial art movie, I will agree with you. And if you told me it is a martial art movie, I would also agree with you. I'm like, I'm not gonna die on any hill here.
Yeah. I understand. And so in terms of your favorite scene, what we my favorite scene. I want to say it's the bus fight because it's the first reveal of him. And there's that moment of like that release and all that stuff. And it was super brutal. It's like that now yous can't leave vibe was very strong at the beginning. So maybe I think in terms of fight scene, that was probably my favorite of the fights because it was the one that sets everything off. But I solid montages all around for explaining things. Really good, efficient writing. In
the general sense, my favorite scene was the bus thing because it's a long scene. My favorite frame, I think, has to be RZA shooting 3 guys at the same time.
Yeah,
that's fucking dope.
That's a great shot. That was like
that and the rebar cannon. Killing people with rebar
was good.
I was like, fuck, that's great. That's like
it
was a good payoff because you see him earlier carrying the rebar, and you're like, what's he gonna do with that? And that's fucking great. So those 2 things, as far as just singular moments, singular frames, on those 2. But as far as an entire scene, the bus thing would be pretty dope. Oh, you know what? No, I changed my mind. Is Doc Brown shooting 2 motherfuckers dead?
Yeah. That was good too. That's good. My favorite. The solid scenes.
It went from fear of like, oh man, they're gonna kill this old man, to like, oh, this old man ain't nothing to fuck with.
Yeah. I'm telling you. So let's do our rankings. Again, anything 3 out of 5 is a recommend. What is your ranking, Neri, auditor, science?
I will give this. I just like the John Wick movies, which, by the way, when I started watching this movie, this is not my first time watching the movie. I did not know that this was written by the same guy. I did not know.
Right.
I had no idea until into this movie. I'm gonna give this, just like the John Wick movies, I'm gonna give this a 5 out of 5 rebars to the face.
Yeah. I may give it. I think I'm at a 4 in terms of if you were looking for a martial, I'll be the guy. I'll be the guy that does it. If you're looking for a martial arts movie, maybe this is not, but this is a great action movie. I'll give it. I'm going to give it 4 monologuing to dead guys out of 5. I think it's good. It's a great action movie.
That was such a great line. These guys would fucking rather die than listen to his origin story.
Yeah. They're like, come on.
That's a great line.
Like,
can you imagine guys like hanging on to life, and then they hear him monologuing, and they go,
yeah,
they just choke themselves out.
I'd rather die, dude. I'd rather die. But yeah, the 4, maybe 4.5, but like sure. There's a lot of good fighting action in this movie, but it really is it's an action-y movie more than I would say a martial arts movie. So 4 out of 5 for KickFlix. But it is leading into Nobody 2. So let's check out the trailer for that. Oops. and let's see what we get.
Are we gonna watch commercial before?
I've come to terms with the fact that you don't have an average job.
Average job. Okay.
You guys having fun at the convention?
But we haven't seen you in months.
What happened to your eye?
Somebody found me at the game.
What game?
The one you missed.
Ooh, that shit.
And summer break's just a few days away.
We should do something. Strictly family time.
Come on, kids. It can be an adventure.
Oh my God, it is. I was like, this is like National Lampoon.
Let's do this.
That's great.
I am just so happy that we're all together.
Hey, city boy.
Hey.
Get out of here. Let's go right now. I understand protecting your sister, but there are other ways to handle things. I left my phone.
What? No.
I like your way better.
What the hell, Hutch? On our first date?
I think I stumbled into something.
You're vacationing in an old bootlegging route, full of drugs, crooked cops, and one woman who controls it all. You didn't take your family there, did you?
Yeah.
You'll want to de-escalate the situation.
De-escalate. No escalating. Guys, I'm not gonna fight you. I'm here on vacation.
Ooh, an anchor.
Find this nobody.
Scorched earth.
I just want a break.
There's no way you were just some family man.
We all have different sides. But most of all, you're a dad. Go fix this shit.
I told you.
I'm on fucking vacation!
All right. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. I'm in, man. I'm in. Again, I like this. I love the Nobody when it came out in theaters. So it's great. It's fantastic.
I immediately thought like, oh, it's like National Lampoon, and then they played the song. I was like, oh, they're leaning into again. I think somebody wrote a comedy script, and then the John Wick guys are like, no, we're going to make this a badass fucking movie, and now we're dealing with this. It's so good. I'm excited. It's interesting, but classic sequel. Put them, it's like did you know the sequel to Beetlejuice was going to be Beetlejuice Goes Hawaiian? Like they're just going to put him in Hawaii or some shit like that. It doesn't. Did
you see Beetlejuice?
No.
It was as ridiculous as what you just mentioned.
Sure.
It was just as ridiculous. You're like, oh, really? They have dry cleaners in the underworld now. They have dry cleaners. Okay, cool. Everybody has jobs. We just have different jobs. Okay, cool. We just made this whole. Okay, cool. Sure.
Nobody 2. Oh, do we see when it comes out? Sorry, I closed the thing.
August 15th. I told you.
August 15th coming out. Nobody 2. Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you everybody for following, liking, sharing, and subscribing. We appreciate all of you doing that. If you can, write a review if you're listening to the audio podcast.
Yeah,
it might be beneficial to us. Well, might be nothing. It is.
It is on the Apples. Yeah, so do that.
Good.
Thank you guys. No, on the Apple, just write the review, 5-star, give us a rating. Help us out. It'd be great. And we are under and on the Apple Podcast, which if you're listening to this on the Apple Podcast, you're under the Woo Bro, under What's Up Bro Podcast, under that umbrella. And if you are watching this on YouTube, just go on your Apple Podcast. You could search either my name or Mike's name or Mike Mercadal, or search What's Up Bro, WUBRO, and that's where we are on the audio version.
Yeah.
Give us a review.
Thank you everybody for watching, and this has been another episode of KickFLIX.
Oh wait, we got to mention what movie did you pick for next week?
Oh, right. Oh man, I had okay. So due to I kind of want to do a traditional martial art movie, but
sure.
I there's an episode. Oh God. I kind of have we done Warrior yet?
The MMA movie?
Yes.
No, we have not. No.
I was talking about that movie and I really wanted to watch it, and I was like, you know what? How do I fit this to nobody?
Well, nobody's a family man. Nobody has kids. He has two daughters.
Oh yeah, again, they dropped the phrase "family man" in the trailer for nobody too.
Yeah, and so he's a family man. He has two. In the movie Warrior, he has two kids. In the movie Nobody, one of the kids is sick and needs medical attention. In the movie Warrior, one of his kids gets sick. That's why they go into debt, which is why he goes into fighting. So there you go.
It's a family man fighting a fighting family. So tune in next week, episode 34 of KickFLIX, where we do Warrior, starring Tom Hardy and Joel Edgerton.
Yeah,
and Nick Nolte, who was bro. Totally snubbed.
For the Oscar. Snubbed for the Oscar.
Snubbed for the Oscar.
All right. Thank you guys for checking us out. Love you guys. Peace.
This has been another episode of KickFLIX. Yeah.